All right, the pull start on this motor doesn't work. Not sure why, but it doesn't grab on to the flywheel. So we're gonna pull this off and see if we can figure out why it's doing that. The electric start works, but that's how I've been starting it, but I do want this pull start just in case. So let's pull that off and see if we can find out what it is. So it looks like when you pull on it, it actually lifts off this side, and maybe that's what grabs, because then when you release tension, it actually sets back on this part. So maybe this was just really stuck because it has been quite a while. So we'll see if that fixes it. I'll put some oil on here and see if that works. All right, I put some oil on this. It's so much easier to turn now. So hopefully this is what it was, and it'll engage now, and we should be able to turn this motor over with just a pull start. All right, so this little piece keeps catching when you go to pull start it. You can see it catching right there. I think this is just a safety to keep it when you pull start it or start it in general, that if it's in gear, it won't start, because that's in reverse, and then that's in neutral, and then that's in forward. So I think it's a safety, but when it's in neutral, it doesn't quite spring back enough, but I think I can make that adjustment right here. So we're gonna make that adjustment, see if that'll fix it. All right, that was a pretty easy fix. That did work. I just adjusted it and it pulled it out a little bit more. So now it's not hitting that at all, but it still works as a safety. When it's in gear, it still won't start. So that's perfect. All right, all my bolts are tight. Let's see if this will turn over. Yes, it works. I'm glad that was just that little thing. That was an easy fix. I just put some oil on it, and now we can see about trying to fix that misfire. We might need to take the carb off and see if there's a problem with that. All right, we got that drain bolt off. The oil actually looks really new, which is good. Glad it's not really dark or burnt. So we are still gonna throw in our new stuff. That way I don't have to worry about it down the road. All right, let's try the spark and get to that water pump. All right, I got to it and it actually looks in okay condition. Looks like it's been sitting a little bit. I see some corrosion buildup, but I'm just gonna pull it off. But I think I wanna pull off this little O-ring so I don't rip it or anything, because I don't have that O-ring. I only have the water impeller. All right, I'm ready to put this back together. I got my water impeller back into the housing. I made sure to clean this part of the housing because I'm gonna put some gasket maker on there. I got this thing back on. The fat end goes onto the housing and the skinny end goes up towards the top. I made sure to clean this and this as well. I'm gonna put gasket maker on this when I put it back onto the motor. And then I'm also gonna make sure I pop that O-ring back on that I had to take off to pull this housing off. And then we will put this back on the motor. All right, this is ready to go. All right, this is ready to go in. I have my O-ring back on. I have my gasket maker all around here. I already put gasket maker on the housing for the water impeller. All right, we got the motor sitting straight up and down on the boat now. I got this gear oil pump at Walmart. And then I also got this gear lubricant. I think I got it at Tractor Supply. So I'm gonna see if this will fit onto there. And this is actually supposed to screw into these threads onto here. So I'll screw the pump onto there. I'll unscrew the overflow cap. And then once oil starts coming out of the overflow cap, that's how we'll know that the oil level is full. All right, we got the carburetor back on. We got this sitting in some water. We're going to start it up and see if we can adjust the carb. I need to adjust this air screw still. So we're going to start that, see if we can get it running right. All right, I think we got this to run pretty good. It seems like it still cuts out. I think it's because of fuel. Every time I squeeze that little pump, it usually runs a little better and then it starts to die. I think this fuel supply is not getting to it. I think it might be because the tank is lower than the motor. I don't know. I'm gonna start looking some of that stuff up. This is my first boat. I've never had one before. And I also don't know how well this fuel system works. It leaks here. You can see all this here. It's actually all around here. That all leaks, and then it does leak here too. And the guy said it did need a new one. I think he said of this. He said one of these. So it needs a new one of one of these. I'm really thinking about just getting all new connections for the tank, for the motor side. That way that there's no leaks, because it leaks a lot and I don't want to leak that all into the lake and everything. So looks like it runs good though. It starts up pretty easy when it has fuel, and then it just dies when it runs out of fuel out of the carb. So I think my problem right now is fuel supply. I'm going to probably take this apart and buy new couplings on both sides, and that way hopefully it fixes it. But if not, I'll probably tear this thing apart again and try and figure out what's going on with it, or just keep messing with the carb. But there we go, this thing's ready for the water, just about. So now we can start working on the boat.